Um, I had quite a day off today, and where it took me, there's a way in which everything I've been saying for the last, well, I mean, pick a length of time, but especially the last couple of weeks, and as I've gotten more involved in this project that we're currently kind of we're in the, I would say, sort of nearing the final launch phase of the project. We're not quite there yet, but we are getting closer and closer to launch. And as that has happened, I've been tracking my own experience with the process, and I've also been tracking what feels different about this process from previous times when I've done it, and how is my intention different? How am I formulating an outcome for this process that is different than the type of outcome I might have formulated last time I did this, which is just about 2 years ago. And I keep coming back to healing. I keep coming back to, as I think I said this yesterday in my post, if I frame my own highest intention as being a form of service, an intention to be of service to the people involved, and that includes myself. I can't exclude myself from that, because then it turns into a weird psychological thing where I can actually kind of subordinate my own needs, and if I don't honor, and by not honoring them, it tilts into a different kind of psychological thing. It tilts into a bit of an evasive maneuver to avoid feeling my own desires. But assuming that that's not what's happening, assuming that I'm also in the mix as part of the collective that I'm serving, then placing my intention on the healing of the individuals and the collective gives me total ownership over success. It's like I define success on my own terms. Literally, I just define it according to my highest purpose. And when I do that, I get this wave of empowerment that sweeps through me, and it's undeniable. I had the thought this morning came through it while I was meditating, and it was just like a little seed. It was like a bing, and I was reflecting on something which I'll explain to you in a minute. I was kind of preparing myself to do something today that was important, and the thought came through: I am not contingent. In other words, I'm not dependent on anything or anyone. It was just a recognition. It wasn't like a declaration or a claiming my power or anything like that. It was more just a recognition that my essence, everything about my fundamental being, is not contingent. It's without condition. And it was just this moment of a glimpse of the reality of radical freedom, and it went hand in hand with the thing I'm about to explain to you. But it went hand in hand with essentially making a decision to do something that required courage and that required risk, and that I really wasn't sure how it was going to work out. Because as I came to recognize yesterday, partly through the events of yesterday and the last couple of days, and partly through some very wise words from my partner, I recognized that healing, which I've been going on about for some time now, means, in one of the things it means is telling the truth and calling them like you see them, and in some ways speaking up for the defense of people who can't defend themselves, or for whatever reason, it's not, it didn't appear to me as like a martyrdom thing, or it's not about the act of violently defending, clearly, but it is about just being willing to tell the truth. And I found myself in a position where I realized I have to tell the truth. And what that did was it taught me a lesson, because I had been saying, I had started this process and learned a number of lessons, and I had been witnessing my own awareness creating a reality in the space that was really kind of remarkable, and it was really beautiful to be part of it. And I certainly wasn't solely responsible for it, but I could feel that I was having an influence. And then I came upon, and it's almost like I predicted this, whether I manifested it or whether I just was seeing, kind of seeing down the road accurately. I knew that I was going to that there was going to be further lessons for me to receive, and what I said in my last couple of days of video posts, I think somewhere in there I said, I don't know what's coming for me. I don't know what's coming next for me. And I think, and as I said that, I realized, oh, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm going to receive a lesson that I may or may not know what it is. And so as that started to come through, and as I got some really deep, profound wisdom from my partner, I realized that my intention to heal, my intention to serve healing, requires actions that sometimes might be they might appear to be confrontational. But in actuality, one thing I noticed is I talk about sometimes how I rehearse the angry tape. And I will internally go on a tirade against a set of circumstances, or sometimes it's people, or sometimes, it's sort of like that part of my psyche just grabs hold of whatever's nearby and sort of vents. It's as though I'm venting internally, but of course there's no release because nobody's listening. It's not actually happening. It's just my mind kind of churning through energy. And what I realized was that in deciding to simply tell the truth, all of that anger went away. All of the I gave myself, like I had the experience the other day of standing in Qigong, and it was like I wanted to go do something else. I think I mentioned this in one of my posts. I wanted to go in the other room and just start working. And something in me was like, don't do that. Like, there's a reason why this energy is trying to burst at the seams right now. And it's really important that I hold that I hold to the core and not that I contain that. And my Qigong practice was incredibly powerful that day, and I could feel, it was almost like there was like an energy ball that was trying to explode, or there was just so much energy that it was creating this explosive pressure. But by allowing myself to contain it, it infused me. It was like I could feel it in my spine, I could feel it in my body, I could just feel that I was containing a new level of energy because I was not allowing it to just kind of explode out. And this was what I experienced today, was a similar feeling to that, in the sense of simply owning some moments of intensity that needed to be faced. And the result of that was that none of the anger or aggression that I sometimes feel was anywhere around. It was not present. And so it taught me what's really going on when I feel those feelings, and when I feel those, I have that inner tape playing. It taught me that what's really happening is I'm not facing the truth of what I'm being called to do. Because as soon as I face it, I become humble, I become clear, and I become calm. I am not agitated anymore. I may be incredibly energized. There may be it's almost like electricity or nuclear power that starts to feel like it's being contained within me, within my body or my mind, but it's not. But all of that, all the anger, all of the lashing out energy literally goes away because I'm facing the truth of what I'm being called to do. And that was just an incredible feeling, because it puts me in a position to evaluate what's happening assuming, maybe, knock on wood, that'll never happen again. I'll never play the angry tape again. Yay, done. Or if that arises again, I will have a sense of, okay, what is it that because there is an answer, there is a solution to what the universe is trying to teach me. And it probably means facing something that I'm a little afraid to face, or else I wouldn't be avoiding it. And the sum total of that experience is, well, when that happens, keep an eye out, right? Like, keep an eye out for what that might be. Because generally that's going to be information that's available. It's not going to be so obscure or so mysterious that I simply can't get a handle on it. It's going to be more like, oh, I'm getting all worked up about this thing, and I'm almost like convincing myself that it's worthy of this angry response in order to avoid the actual next step, which always requires courage. So in other words, in my case, anger is a way of avoiding the thing that is requiring the courage of me. And I think that probably this could be very different for all sorts of different people. I don't think everybody has anger as that thing. I think probably other people, we all have our own patterns, right? We all have our own evasive maneuvers that we execute in order to avoid the thing that scares the shit out of us. But learning what some of those are, and then recognizing the power that we then learn to contain and channel if we will face it, was just incredibly powerful today, and just very, very, very humbling. And it feels like a gift. It feels like I've received a gift by living into a new stage of my life. It feels like, oh, I'm ready to not avoid anymore. So yeah, that's what today was. That's why I was jokingly acting like this wasn't a day off. The universe doesn't give you days off. It's all days on. But it's nice to relax a little too. So I'm sure there's going to be more. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I say this often, but having this moment to share and to know that it's being received is so immensely helpful to me in formulating the awareness to take conscious steps. So I just couldn't be more grateful to you. Thank you. Love you. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.